Nintendogs, Lab and Friends. Such a sweet, innocent game. I had gotten the game years ago. I was so excited. I had bought a red Cavalier KC Spaniel when I first started my file. I named her Noodle. She was so sweet. I would spend hours with her, training my sweet little puppy, feeding her and bathing her. I played the game almost non-stop. When I got the cartridge that one cold day, I had gotten many other dogs on that game, but only three stayed with me at all times. Noodles, along with Shelly, a miniature dachshund, and Draco, a German shepherd. They would cheer me up when I was down. They would make me happy even during my darkest hours. I loved them so much. They were my best friends. As silly as it sounds, it was almost as if they were alive. But as time went on, I was slowly growing out of the Nintendogs. It was almost as if they could sense I was going to leave them. I was starting to play different games, get on my computer more often. I was starting to watch some more TV. Slowly but surely, Nintendogs would be forgotten. Replaced with bigger and better things. Years later, I was digging through my games. Not to play them, no, to sell them. I didn't want to sell any of my games, but I had to, as Mom wanted money. I froze when my hands brushed against a small game cartridge. I blinked, picking it up and dusting it off. Nintendogs, I smiled. Boy, I had missed this game. The last time I had played it was before my best friend left me. I stood up, still holding the cartridge. My mom was out of the house at the time, so I was free to play it. I grabbed my DSi and sat down on my bed. I pushed a small square into the system, and then a click echoing throughout my room. I started the startup icon. It looked odd. There was no cute lab puppy on it. It was just completely a red screen. I shrugged it off. Just an error. Nothing too major. I tapped the screen and watched the icon disappear as it faded out into the game. It showed the normal Nintendog logo against the white screen, but the right on the bottom was half gone. Was this normal? Yes, it had to be. I was just in my mind playing tricks on me. But instead of normal happy bark welcoming me, it was just silence. My eyes widened at what I saw. Instead of seeing the normal happy beach scene, the sand was covered with bones and internal organs of what I seemed to be other dogs. The sky was blood red. More bones had severed body parts scattered in the ocean, making it red also. Swallowing hard, I started looking around for my dogs. I almost wish I hadn't. Almost the minute I started looking, I heard a soft whining noise. Noodles lay there, covered in blood. My mouth went dry as realization hit me. The bones and body parts were of Draco and Shelly. But that was not normal at all. My eyes were filled with tears as I frantically held my thumb over the power button. The DS system cannot be turned off at this time. What? What did it mean? I shuddered, tossing my DSi across the room, making a loud thud noise as it hit the wall. I made a dash for the door, putting my hand on the knob. I jiggled it wasn't moving, and my door didn't have a lock. I opened my mouth to scream, but nothing came out. Sobbing silently, pressing my back against the door, closing my eyes. After a few minutes of sobbing, I calmed down. Everything was silent. Maybe my DSi had shut itself off? Maybe I broke it? I didn't care. I just wanted to find out. An icy chill went up my spine as I heard a fierce few barks coming from my DSi. Hesitantly, I slowly walked towards it. Noodles was standing there in front of the screen, holding a leash in her mouth. Noodles would like you to take for a walk. I quivered. It hadn't said anything like that before. Shakily, I picked up my DSi, getting a good look at Noodles. Her eyes were gone. Nothing but her eye sockets. Blood covering her face, and some skin and fur was missing. Sobbing, I typed the no option on the screen. The screen faded to white, leading me to the route screen. It looked normal, besides the route ink, and it was blood red. It automatically made its own route. Is this the route you'll take? I frantically tapped the no option. It didn't listen. Noodles and I immediately started to walk. I stared at the screen in horror. All of the buildings were on fire. Body parts of humans and dogs were scattered all over the sidewalk. Noodles stopped at a dead puppy and started to eat it. I continued sobbing as she dragged me through the terrifying scene. Ruff, ruff! Noodles bark. Oh no, another dog. The scene then faded to white for a few seconds before showing a screen. Maggie was out for a walk. Instead of the cute little Yorkie jumping around, it was a decaying skeleton with some rotting flesh on it. Chantel has some stern words for you. I gulped, clicking the red arrow. Your dogs are dead, Lydia. Everyone's dogs are dead, and it's all your fault. I watch in terror as Noodles lunged forward, gawing at the dead body of Maggie. It's time to say goodbye, Chantel. Noodles doesn't seem to like Maggie very much. The screen faded out and back into Noodles and I walking. After a few minutes of walking, she barked once. Running out of sight, she came back with a white and red present. Noodles must have found something. She's bringing it to you. You got a dog's skull. Noodles excitedly pawed at the scene. The skull belonged to the local neighborhood puppy. Type. I continued to cry silently as Noodles dragged me through to more terror. It seemed like it took forever, but we soon made it back home. I finally managed to open my mouth and talk. Why are you doing this to me? I choked out, my voice scratchy. Noodles stared up at the screen. Noodles has waited 3 years for you to come back. I gulped, but you never came. Suddenly what was left of Noodles' fur and skin slowly started to melt off. I'll make you suffer. Soon it was just a skeleton left, just like I did. And just like that, the skeleton collapsed onto the ground. My DSi shut off. Sobbing hysterically, I ripped the game out of the system and tossed it in the trash. Suddenly, my door slowly creaked open. Without thinking twice, I bolted out of the room. I never wanted to play Nintendogs again.